Drivin Ivan here, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about the cars that Feuds with Enzo Ferrari actually spawned from other car manufacturing entrepreneurs. It is well known that Enzo Ferrari had a fiery temper, and it was his way or the highway. So when he grew mad with either his employees or customers or his sales force in other countries, the disputes were legendary. Smash that like button and subscribe, because I'm going to tell you all about the cars that disputes and arguments with Enzo Ferrari spawned. It is said that Enzo's attitude was, well, if you don't like working for me here at Ferrari, then go ahead and leave and do it your own way. But if you're here, you're going to do it my way. It was this unapologetic vigor that probably led to his racing success at Alfa Romeo and at Ferrari as well. He really only sold the road cars to finance his racing ventures. He was pretty much uninterested in the road cars and also uninterested in the older race cars, and that's why even Ferrari GTOs would just sit unloved in the back of the factory and sometimes just be pillaged for parts. I'll call it the Castle Revolt, in which Enzo Ferrari lost most of his designers and engineers in the course of just a few days. Enzo was spending less and less time on the factory floor managing things, and actually his wife took over that situation, and this really angered many people. Apparently, Laura Dominica Garello, yes, that's Enzo's wife, did not have a very soft method with the factory workers, and in particular, she rubbed one of the Ferrari sales managers the wrong way. Girolamo Gardini was that person, and many people at the factory supported him and really wanted Enzo's wife off the floor and out of their lives. In fact, a letter was written from a lawyer, and that, of course, greatly angered Enzo Ferrari. Many people sided with Gardini, higher-ups at Ferrari, including development chief Giotto Bizzarrini, Carlo Chiti, who was an engineer, and the racing team manager Romolo Tavoni, plus several other people, and they all backed Gardini and wanted Enzo's wife out of their lives. Apparently, Gardini gave Enzo an ultimatum saying that if he didn't get rid of his wife, then he would leave, and Ferrari reacted by firing him. And it is said all the people mentioned in the lawyer's letter. So Bizzarrini, Chiti, and Tavoni, and others were all let go at the same time. And this actually was very tough on Ferrari because they were very competent employees. Things were on a downhill spiral for Enzo. In 1957, his Grand Prix driver Eugenio Castellati was killed, and Fonda Portago had crashed in the Mille Miglia, and that really ended that whole race. From then on, even spectators were killed. Luigi Musso was killed at the French Grand Prix in 1958. Peter Collins was killed on the Nürburgring, and in Italy, you're actually charged with murder if somebody on your racing team dies. They treated it very seriously, and they were even getting bad press from the Vatican. So it was bad times for Ferrari. Upon leaving Ferrari, Bizzarrini, Chiti, and Tavoni teamed up to form ATS, Automobili Turismo e Sport. So they were racing cars. ATS did compete on the track, but they had little success. I think they did much better with the beautiful ATS 2500 GT. The company was financed by Count Giovanni Volpi, and after its failure, well, Bizzarrini went on to Lamborghini, and then Giotto Bizzarrini founded his own namesake company in 1964 and built the beautiful 5300 GT Strada and the 5300 GT Spider. Bizzarrini had some racing success at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1965, where he won the 5000cc and over class and was 9th overall. He had more success with his road cars, and they have become quite sought after today. He also built the 1900 GT Europa in both Berlinetta and convertible forms. Bizzarrini also developed 3 models for Renzo Revolta, the ISO Gordon GT, which became the ISO Revolta and then the Gordon Keeble. He also helped to develop the ISO Griffo with Giorgetto Giugiaro. Renzo Revolta, who of course was the founder of ISO Cars, had been a very successful motorcycle and appliance manufacturer, famous for the Isetta microcar, which was fairly successful in Italy, but when he licensed it to BMW, it became extremely successful in Germany, and therefore he could afford to finance the car that he really wanted to build, the ISO Revolta, and that really was inspired by him not being happy with the GT cars from Ferrari, so he wanted to build the ultimate GT car, and he did so with the ISO Revolta, which featured Italian styling and of course the Chevy 327 engine and gearboxes. You definitely should check out my full review of the ISO Revolta. What an amazing car. Just search Drivin Ivan in any car, and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Peter Monteverdi was a car dealer in Switzerland, and he was quite successful. He also had dealings with Enzo Ferrari, but that all fell apart when Enzo demanded payment up front to the 100 cars that he wanted to sell in Switzerland, and he wanted cash up front for the cars, and Monteverdi, of course, disagreed with him, and well, the rest is history. He wanted to build the ultimate GT car, and that resulted in the Monteverdi High Speed, a top-of-the-line luxury car with all the top features at the time, and it was also extremely fast. Air travel was not that quick at the time, so having a really nice high-speed GT in Europe was definitely a great idea in the 60s. The Monteverdi High-Speed 375S Coupe was born, launched at the Frankfurt Motor Show in 1967 using a Chrysler 440 V8 engine and beautiful Italian styling, at first built by Frua and then in later years by Fassore. Now we come to the famous tale of Ferrari versus Ferruccio Lamborghini. Lamborghini was a successful tractor maker, and he could afford to drive all of the greatest Italian cars, and he drove Ferrari 250s, and the story goes he was unhappy with the clutch. Basically, he wanted to have a word about it with Enzo Ferrari, who it is said kept him waiting, and it is also said that he actually went straight to his house and confronted him there, but there are really several versions. Test driver Valentino Balboni, who gave me a private tour of Lamborghini's museum. You should definitely search Drivin Ivan and Lamborghini for that. And I also interviewed him at La Bella Macchina d'Italiana, and you can see that video also on YouTube, and you can see him driving the Lamborghini that I'm about to tell you about, which was born from this feud. So definitely just search Drivin Ivan and Lamborghini to see that factory tour, or my factory tour in 2023. But that interview was really great. Anyway, the way Valentino Balboni, Lamborghini test driver, tells it, basically Lamborghini's head mechanic, he found out that Ferrari was charging 1,000 lira for the same clutch that Lamborghini charged 10 lira for, which they used in their tractors. But Bob Wallace, the original test driver for Lamborghini, says that's not true. He said that he was just motivated to start the company because, well, he wanted to make money and he wanted the prestige of building sports cars, and of course, they have a bit more prestige than tractors. But at any rate, it is said that Enzo Ferrari told Ferruccio Lamborghini to stick to building tractors. Lamborghini got upset and built his prototype 350 GT and showed it at the 1963 Turin Auto Show, powered by a Bizzarrini designed V12, and it was later improved to be the 400 GT, but absolutely a beautiful car. Shortly after that came the Miura, and one of my personal favorites, the Lamborghini Islero and Espada as well, and you can see those also, including the Urama, elsewhere on my YouTube channel. So there you have it. Enzo Ferrari's bad temper and his tough way of dealing with others resulted in many, many cars being built to compete with his own cars, and really the rest is history. Thanks for watching. Definitely do check out my reviews of the Monteverdi High Speed and also the ISO Revolta, along with many, many Ferraris, including the Mondial, the Roma, the 308 GTS, and the 550 Maranello as well. Also watch my The Truth About Driving the Lamborghini Countach review, and just search Drivin Ivan in any car. I also like to do pop culture videos, and I have Jim Morrison's Life and Death in Paris, Jimi Hendrix's Life and Death and Lady Friends in London, U2 in Ireland, Banksy's Art in Bristol, and even Jim Morrison's life in Alexandria, Virginia. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Drivin Ivan.